right. Are we on it? Everything's rocking. We're coming to you live the Wednesday right after the leadership of all time of National Agents Alliance. And I have sent blasts out that said today, going EVP, getting right here, Executive Vice President on the Alliance Commission chart, the Alliance Recognition chart becomes very easy today. So what I want to do today is break this down and show you how to get there. Because most likely, we've had so many people come out of our leadership convention, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this thing. But what do I do next? I want to keep this very simple. How to get started to where if you started here at a key leader or if you started right here at IBA, we want to show you all the way to get up to executive vice president, which makes you right below board member. So I would like to invite you personally to become a board member in our organization. I don't know if you've ever been invited to be a board member before on your church or in a small business, but you are invited now. I don't care who you are. All right. Are we on it? Everything's rocking. We're coming to you live the Wednesday right after the leadership of all time of National Agents Alliance. And I have sent blasts out that said today, going EVP, getting right here, Executive Vice President on the Alliance Commission chart, the Alliance Recognition chart becomes very easy today. So what I want to do today is break this down and show you how to get there. Because most likely, we've had so many people come out of our leadership convention, they're like, oh my God, I'm going to kill this thing. But what do I do next? I want to keep this very simple. How to get started to where if you started here at a key leader or if you started right here at IBA, we want to show you all the way to get up to executive vice president, which makes you right below board member. So I would like to invite you personally to become a board member in our organization. I don't know if you've ever been invited to be a board member before on your church or in a small business, but you are invited now. I don't care who you are. You're invited to become a board member in the Alliance. So I jumped right into it today, but there's a lot of new people listening by now, I'm sure, people that didn't make it to our leadership, and you've just joined the Alliance. My name is Andy Albright. And we do this broadcast, whether it comes out through audio, people are listening on the phone, or people are watching it through the continuous stream through YouTube, or however we broadcast, however you see it. I got this. However we get it out to you, it comes out on Wednesdays. So, all right, so here we go. So in the audience today, I have all the folks that work in the corporate office. And what they do is when we hire people across the country, they're teaching them how to make money with the Alliance. We teach people how to do the Alliance, how to do our deal. Our deal is selling and recruiting. Now, building or becoming an executive vice president is another step. But I'm just going to break it down real simple because I want our staff to be able to explain to a brand new person how to get started and how to get to EVP. Now, I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So I'm not going to I'm going to get a couple of you here and walk through it. And then you guys will see how I'm teaching them, how I've shown Alex Fitzgerald, how I've shown the Lampies, and many more people are on the way, and they're going to get there very, very soon. You watch. So the first thing I want to talk about at the Alliance is this trip that we have going on, and this is the Greek Isles cruise. One of the first things I'm going to talk to people about when I get them started, when they're brand new, is how we're going to enjoy our life with the Alliance while we become financially free. In other words, from the time you get started until you become Executive Vice President, I want them to win all expense-paid trips and go all over the world. So this one that we're in the middle of right now, we'll have, I guess we'll have about 6 months left, a little bit less than 6 months. A brand new person that's watching this show right now, you could get your license and qualify for this 7-night, 8-day trip that will fly you to Venice, then we'll go to Olympia, Mykonos, Santorini, and Corfu, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Hopefully you've seen some of our videos now. I just got back from there where I traveled with my daughter Haley, and we took notes, took pictures, and took in all the sites and enjoyed a lot of the different things that this trip has to offer. And our incredible media team, AMP Media, or AMP, took all the video and they put together the show that you should see and tell you a little bit about it. And of course, Chris and Katie that do all of our trip planning, they went with us. So we want you to earn this trip. It's going to be a blast. It'll be a trip of a lifetime. It'll mess people's mind up. Now, it's not the only trip we're going to do. It's just the one that we have coming up. Okay, so let's get started in how to go EVP. Well, first of all, the new Millionaire Maker Manual is out. This is our 3rd edition. And inside of it, there's tons of stuff that show you exactly how to go EVP. What I know is on page 222, where it talks about the follow-up, that is when we get people started. Now, I'm not talking about how to run ads. I'm not talking about how to cold contact people or how to talk to your friends. What I'm talking about is I got a human being that I'm going to get them started, okay? And I think what I want to do, I think I want to use Gooden. I think I want to use you as the person that me and you're talking to. But Robbie, I want Robbie and Brandy. Would y'all come up here? And Gooden, come up here. All right, y'all clap for them so they feel special. All right. What's your first name? John. Jonathan. I call you Gooden. How you say it? Gooden? Gooden. Gooden. He's a Gooden. He's a Gooden. So Jonathan's a Gooden. So he's a Gooden I picked. So this is going to be the guy that we're getting started. Now Gooden works in ABTF. Okay, so he's an example person. So if I start talking about how he was a military brat, or he was he was in the Vietnam War, I'm just using him an example as the person we're talking to. Okay, so Jonathan Gooden. All right, so in this book is a follow-up. So we have found him, whether he answered an ad or whether, let's say, Marcus Richardson hired Gooden or Doug Watson hired Gooden. What we're going to do is we're going to execute the follow-up. Now the question is, are you going to take me all the way from the follow-up to EVP? And the answer is, yeah, basically, I'm going to show you how you can teach him how to go EVP, or how we're going to teach Ben Smallish to go EVP. All right? So let's see here. Where are we going to go next? All right, let's do what I've started drawing out. EVP. Let's talk about what EVP is. To go Executive Vice President, you need, let's look over here. You need to have an AM, an AM, an AM, and 2 key leaders. AM, AM, AM. I got too many. Let me erase one. See, it's so easy. I did too much. All right, is it 4? Is it 4? Oh, I thought I was wrong, but I was right. A lot of times I'm right when I think I'm wrong, which makes me right. Okay. All right, so 4 AMs, 1, 2, 3, 4, then a key leader and a key leader. So that's what you need to go. I'm not teaching him. I'm telling y'all how to do it. So when we get him started, I'm going to teach him how to go EVP without even telling him. Okay? Does that make sense? So here we go. I don't think everybody gets, and that $300,000 a month is what executive vice president will run. That's how much volume. But what you got to do, what you got to teach, we're teaching Marcus, we're teaching Doug Watson how to go EVP. They've got to find this right here. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, they think they got to find him individually. Okay? And that's not the case. The way that it's going to work is, let's say Marcus or Ben or Eric Belair hires all these people. Here's what he's doing. He's looking for an agency manager in here. He's looking for an agency manager in here. This might be the agency manager, and an agency manager, and then a key leader, and then a key leader. That is executive vice president. You say, well, what if this guy quits? It don't matter. See what it is? It's an AM in that first organization. See, it's just there. It don't matter where he is. It doesn't. Okay, over here it don't matter. It could be, if it's not here, let's say this person is not there. It just goes straight to here. Let's just say it goes down here, and then all of a sudden, this guy is an agency manager. It still counts. That's an agency manager leg. So what you're doing is, you're looking for people to become each level. So when you're to go EVP, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find a key leader, you find a key leader. And these levels are real easy to hit. I mean, we have all kinds of people hitting key leader. Tons of people hitting key leader. Tons of people hitting team leader. All these little levels. IBA, how hard is it to hit IBA? We had a guy, we sent him an email and said, congratulations, you've hit IBA. And he's like, what? All I did was write a policy. Don't everybody do that? We're like, yeah. But it's funny that he's like almost insulted. I agree. Do you understand? It don't take many IBAs to become a BP. Like right here, like this. BP, look how, let me show you how complicated BP is. BP works like this, is if you get a person to become an IBA, and then you get another guy to become an IBA, you're a BP. And I'm not putting them down. I'm going like, did you get, you know what I mean? Did you get one person to write a policy and another person, you write one? You're a business promoter. Now, to move all the way up here to a team builder, you ain't going to believe this. You have to get this guy to get 2 people. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is so easy. Like, you get 2 people to sell. Like a 300, I used to think it was 300 million people in America, and then I was reading a book that said 306 million. It turns out the book was several years old, and some people had a baby, apparently, and there's 312 million people in America. Boom, yeah, they're growing every day. The Bible said go forth and multiply, and apparently some of them are listening, So here we go. See, you see how this works? You get 2 and you're an IBA, you're a BP, you're a business promoter. Am I right on that? Yeah, I'm right. This is it. This is business promoter. So it's simple stuff. Like, how do you do this? All right, so let's go agency manager. So if we're looking for an agency manager, here's what you're looking for. This is the agency manager, AM, right there. All they got to do is agency. it's not there. It just goes straight to here. Let's just say it goes down here, and then all of a sudden, this guy is an agency manager. It still counts. That's an agency manager leg. So what you're doing is, what you are doing is you're looking for people to become each level. So when you're to go EVP, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find an AM, you find a key leader, you find a key leader. And these levels are real easy to hit. I mean, we have all kinds of people hitting key leader. Tons of people hitting key leader. Tons of people hitting team leader. All these little levels. IBA, how hard is it to hit IBA? We had a guy, we sent him an email and said, congratulations, you've hit IBA. And he's like, what? All I did was write a policy. Don't everybody do that? We're like, yeah. But it's funny that he's like almost insulted. I agree. Do you understand? It don't take many IBAs to become a BP. Like, like right here, like this. BP, look how, let me show you how complicated BP is. BP works like this, is if you get a person to become an IBA, and then you get another guy to become an IBA, you're a BP. And I'm not putting them down. I'm going like, did you get, you know what I mean? Did you get one person to write a policy and another person, you write one, you're a business promoter. Now to move all the way up here to a team builder, you ain't gonna believe this. You have to get this guy to get 2 people. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is so easy. Like, you get 2 people to sell. Like a 300, I used to think it was 300 million people in America. And then I was reading a book that said 306 million. It turns out the book was several years old and some people had a baby, apparently, and there's 312 million people in America. Boom, yeah. They're growing every day. The Bible said go forth and multiply, and apparently some of them are listening, So here we go. See, you see how this works? You get 2 and you're an IBA, you're a BP, you're a business promoter. Am I right on that? Yeah, I'm right. This is it. This is business promoter. So it's simple stuff. Like, how do you do this? All right, so let's go agency manager. So if we're looking for an agency manager, here's what you're looking for. This is an agency manager, AM, right there. All they got to do is agency manager, $20,000 a month. Am I right about that? Seems like it ought to be $50,000. $50,000. So all he's got to do is $50,000 a month. $50,000 a month. So if you did 10, 10, 10, 10, there's $40,000. All right. Okay. So if you got 10,000 between 50 other people, right? Or if you did 25 and 20, then all you had to do was, one app here and all these places, and your agent. There's like 100 different easy ways to go agency manager. All you need is a key leader. And remember what a key leader is. A key leader is just a BP, a BD, and 2 IBAs. This person, to become a key leader, all you got to have is a BD. That's it, a BD. No, that's a BP. That's a BP. Business promoter's got 2 people. You see the chart? Business promoter. You see how this is working? So all you got to have to BP is 2 people. All he's got to have is a BD, which is 1 and 2 IBAs, because that's simple to get a key leader. So an agency manager's just got to have a key leader and a team leader and a BP and an IBA. That's it. That's it to become an agency manager. So all you need is 4 of them and 2 key leaders, and you're an EVP. You should be able to do that in a year. You should be able to do it in 12 months. If it's on the outside, 18 months, 2 years. Jeez. Now, how much is this guy making? Well, how much is an executive vice president making? Well, if you just said 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000 at 200,000, that's a minimum 200,000, and then 2 and he's at EVP's a 110, and he's at 85. So what's the difference between 85 and 110? 25 points. So 25% of 200,000 is what? 50,000. 50,000 a month. So that's 600,000 in overrides minimum on the first 4 legs. You say, wait a minute, in a year from now I could be there. Well, yeah, 18 months, 2 years, duh. Okay, the 2 key leaders. Now, by the way, the first agency manager could be at 150,000, second manager at 150. So if between these 4, instead of adding a 200,000, let's say they add up to 400,000, which is very easy. 25% of 400,000 is 100,000 a month. So now you're making 100,000 a month off of those first 4 legs. And then you've got 2 key leaders. When his key leader is running 25,000, so there's another 50,000, but he's only 80%, so you got a 30% spread, so that's another 15,000, $115,000 a month coming in on executive vice president. And people look at this and they go, it can't be that easy, everybody would do it. And I go like, I don't think people have explained it simple enough to get people to do it, how easy it is to do. When I first saw this, I did an Excel spreadsheet, and I remember I called Barry Clarkson. I was like, Barry, is this right? Can it be this easy? And he said, it's that simple, but is it that easy? I was like, yes. I mean, yeah. You just find a couple of people and explain to them how to do it. All right, so here we go. How do we get a person? If this is you, how do you find an AM? How do you find an AM? How to find an AM? How to find a key leader? Well, this is the way you do it. No matter how I come across him. Let's say, Erica, if you told me about Gooden, and he's in Denver, or in just the other day, Michelle and Dave told me about a new lady they hired named Megan, okay? And so I call up Megan and started talking. What I'm doing is, if this is AA, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an agency manager, right? But what the case is the situation here is Dave and Michelle are here. Dave and Michelle are here, and I need them to find 4 AMs and 2 key leaders, right? Okay. So they also had a guy that I talked to that was in, and by the way, you know, right in this case, you got Ryan right here, but I'm trying to get them to EVP. If I'm trying to get Ryan to EVP, I got to get 6 AMs under him. Does that make sense? So in other words, like this, let's say this is AA, and we'll put the ABTF up here. So this is me and my my agency building task force. So this is where y'all are. So let's say we got Doug Watson. No, Marcus Richardson, who hires Doug Watson. And Doug Watson, who has he hired good?
Russ and Shelley.
Okay, so I'm talking to Russ and Shelley. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am looking for an AM for my man Doug Watson, because Doug Watson needs 4 AMs. You see how this is working? I am looking for an AM. You say, what, Andy, when you say you're trying to find an agency manager, what are you looking for? Well, let's talk about what an agency manager is. Well, agency manager is a person that can help somebody become key leader, team leader, BP. That's what an agency manager is. Andy, when you're talking to them, what do you need out of an agency manager? I need him to do some very simple stuff. Okay? The 8 steps to success. I need for him to read this book. I need for him to what? Get started. So here's what I'm going to do. So in this case, I'm going down in here and I'm talking to Megan, okay? Because she's under Dave and Michelle, and I'm trying to help Megan become an executive vice president. I know, I'm trying to help Dave and Michelle become executive vice president. I need an AM down here. Y'all tracking on this? I mean, it seems, any questions on it? Okay, all right. So when I talk to Megan, what I'm doing is I'm interviewing, I am GS3, I'm getting her started, I'm following up. Basically what I'm doing is page 222. I'm following up. My goal is to get her to agency manager so they have one agency manager underneath them. I'm going to do them in red. Dave and Michelle also sent me to talk to this guy, Mark. What do I want? I want an agency manager. Now watch this. Who else does Dave and Michelle have? Anybody else that we think of? Kelvin.
Michael Johnson.
Oh, yeah, his brother. I leave out his brother. Okay, so Michael Johnson is right here. So maybe I want to help Michael Johnson. Now watch this. What if I'm interviewing for an AM and an AM? What if one of them don't go as fast as the others and they become a key leader? So if I get 4 bam, bam, bam agency managers under Dave and Michelle, and then 2 of the other people only become key leaders, bam, they're executive vice presidents. But if also these 2 people become agency managers, they're still executive vice president. It don't make them less. So my goal is when I'm talking to you, so this is the guy I'm following up with, is to get him to agency manager like that. So I thought you was going to show him got to get to EVP. No, I'm showing whoever hired him how to get to EVP. Does that make sense? Okay, now, when I get him started right to agency manager, he's going to be boom, 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 moving up. Okay? So immediately, I'm going to be under him looking for what? To get him to become an agency manager, what am I going to be looking for? I'm looking for a key leader under him, and a team leader, and a BP, and an IBA. But when I talk, if I'm up here above him, and I hired Gooden, then I'm trying to find a key leader down in here. So what I'm always going to do, though, you was right on track. I'm going to be talking to this person, see if I can get them to agency manager right off the bat. So in the follow-up on page 222, I'm looking at minimum to get them to agency managers. What I'm looking for is an army of agency managers. So to become an executive vice president, I need 4 agency managers underneath them. So the question is, how do I follow up and get them started? All right, so let's start talking about that. To follow up with Gooden, so I don't care how many people are in between us. Say this is Andy, and this is the ABTF, which is basically part of my organization. We're working down in here, and we're working with Gooden. All right? So Jonathan Gooden, that's who we're working with. We're going to talk to him and get him started. You say, well, who are you trying to become executive vice president? Whoever it is above him. Because we need this person right here, let's say this person right here, whoever it is, to get them to executive vice president, we need an agency manager. We're going to need we're going to need 4 agency managers underneath them. Right. All right? Now, all right, so let's start with what do we say to him? What do we say to Gooden to get him there? Let's see. What do we say? All right. So they're here, their dots are here. I'm not even putting their names. We're trying to get him to agency manager. We're trying to get John Gooden to agency manager. So, getting a new people started, moving in the right direction. So we got to get him started up, headed in the right direction. We need to get him more what? Selling and recruiting. That's our goal. What that is, on this side is selling and recruiting on this side. Building is over here. All right, so what do? He wants, first of all, if we're talking to him, there's multiple people we got to choose from. We believe this guy already is ready to move. All right, so when we, who was it, Shelley, Russ and Shelley?
Yes.
Or Michael? Whoever I'm talking to down in here, and I don't care how many people below, I'm assuming, I'm believing, there's no reason for me to talking to him unless he's ready to get started, which is right here. Go with the belief that the prospect wants to make money and he's ready to move. The first thing that I got to know, to get him going, we always got to bam-fam. We always want to keep getting in touch with him. So whoever, and I'm thinking of all the different people that I'm talking to, and I always have the fresh names on my mind that I'm working with, whether it's Jeremy Patton, I'm trying to get him to become executive vice president, so I'm working with, what's my man's down under there? Is it Rubio? That's what I call him. Is that his right name? Is that wrong? You don't know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Rubio. Well, I'm talking to Rubio or whoever underneath. I'm talking underneath him. If I'm talking to Rubio underneath him, either way, I am going to start bam-famming, starting to book a meeting. Now, what does book a meeting mean? It was funny. I talked to a brand new person this past week, and they said, I'm on a, he didn't say bam-fam, I'm on bam-light them. I'm on bam-a-ram them or something like that. And I was like, whoever's talking to this person, whoever's teaching this person, they're telling them right. I know, backlight them. I think it's what he said. I'm going to backlight them. And I was like, whatever. But he's thinking bam-fam. I like that. So when I start talking to John Gooden, I'm working right out of this book. The first thing I want to do when I talk to Gooden, I want to find out who he is. This is going to get in GS3. Go to every one of you that are watching. NAA University has a ton of free training sessions. I call you up, I go, bro, Gooden, have you heard about all the new training sessions on NAA? I mean, Mike, have you heard about all the training sessions? Yes?
Yes.
No? Yes?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And so when I start asking them questions like that, it's just like I'm telling the audience. I'm going to start to pointing to resources for the new people. Why? Because I need to get him to agency manager. And there's no way he's going to get there if he doesn't use the resources. So in getting started in goal setting in NAA University, there is a training session that goes through GS3. If you're watching this show, you're going to hear glimpses and parts of GS3. To get the whole impact of it, go to NAA University. So I'm talking to my brand new person here. It goes like this. I go, Gooden, and let's just do like it's really you. If I had recruited you, I'd be asking you these questions. So Gooden, how did you find out about us?
Found out through another contact, or I found out from one of my friends who told me about what he was doing, how much money he was making.
Okay. To be clear, I want you to hold it closer. To be clear, I want you to answer truthfully. How did you, Jonathan Gooden, find out about the Alliance, which is our company?
Through a mutual friend, Matt Mason.
Matt Mason.
Yep.
How did you know Matt?
I met him through one of our mutual friends at a baseball game.
So you met Matt at a baseball game, and then Matt told you about us.
Right.
So what that's doing is I'm giving him his contact to me. So let's do another one. Let's go Ryan. Let's do Dave and Michelle. Let's do Mark. So I talked Mark. I said, Mark, how do you know us? He said, well, this guy right here hired me a long time ago, and he quit, so I quit. And then Dave and Michelle called him back and said, you want to get started? And he said, yeah. I said, oh, so this guy right here is no longer around, and they called you and got you started back. He's like, yeah. Does that make sense? So all I'm doing is I'm establishing a connection from me to him. Who else do we need to talk to? Matt and Stephanie Goodrich. How do I know? So if I talk to Matt and Stephanie, I say, how do I know you? They go, well, Bill and Diane hired me. How did you know them? So what I do is I get that connection. All it is I'm just trying to connect. That's all I'm doing. Now, then here's the next thing. I try to figure out who he is. Who is this guy? So I start asking questions like, where did you go to school? What kind of work are you doing? In my mind, I'm trying to figure out if I've got an agency manager. All right? If he says, I just got out of jail, I hadn't had a job in a while, I'm going, they're not going to appoint this guy. Right? If he starts, watch this, here we go. If this is us, if this is ABTF here, ABTF, and we're trying to get you to executive vice president, and we interview here, we interview here, we interview here, we interview here. This is, some of these people out here that we talk to are not agency managers. So we're always interviewing people, and we're trying. Now, this person, we might have talked to them, and they said, it turns out they want to sell 1 app a week. They're good people. I love them, right? I was just talking to a guy, it's like, he's like, yeah, I hired this guy, came to the meeting, I'm not impressed with him. I'm like, Bo, easy. Because in other words, don't be down on this guy. This guy could lead to another guy who leads to an agency manager. So for me to help whoever hired him go EVP, whoever hired him to get them to go EVP, I need to see if he's going to be agency manager or if I need to go under him to find another agency manager. This is an outlet for me to find an agency manager. So then the definition becomes, what does an agency manager look like? Tell me, Robbie, if you're talking to me, what's some things about me, not Andy Albright, but this imaginary person, what makes you think that they might become executive vice president or agency manager? What would you say?
People that are typically busy. If somebody haven't done anything in 5 or 6 years, it's probably going to be tough for them to kind of get in that zone, that work ethic.
So you like a busy person?
Like a busy person, somebody that's had a level of success before.
Like what?
Somebody that's had some management experience, maybe some customer service, maybe some sales experience, something applicable to this or some degree of success. When I look at our agency managers, I think we have 30 in the company right now. They've all been successful at some point. Well, a couple of them haven't been, but most of them have been successful in a prior business to the Alliance, and they were busy when they found us. So I'm looking for busy and ready, willing, and able, and some previous experience would be preferred.
If this was our ABTF, and this was all the people, okay, Chadwick Ray, who is some of the people that we think that are scattered through our ABTF that might be agency managers in the future? Or they're agency managers now, it just hasn't got time to become agency manager yet. Who would you say?
Staying in that Chadwick Ray leg, I would say Lauren Atkins and Brian Mendenhall will be agency managers very, very soon because they were busy and they had the experience before this company. when they
Okay.
got started.
All right. Well, I think in that leg, Sarge.
Sarge.
Let me tell you why. Because look, if Sarge is right here, all he's got to have is a key leader. He should have that with Brian.
He does.
So now all he's got to have is a team leader, a BP, and IBA. How hard is that? Does that make sense? How hard is that? So all I got to do is explain to him how to get a team leader, a BP, and IBA. Like, a team leader is this simple. Then I go and look over there at Jay, and I go over there and who else is that Chadwick Grant? Go over there and look
Jay
at
Turner, Steve Moore.
Steve, and I go like, dude, you become an agency manager.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say? Pass it to Brandy. What's something that you would say about a person that you think will become agency manager? What traits? How would you judge? How would you judge me? Like, you're like, he ain't gonna make it, or he can make it to agency manager. How would you judge?
I mean, same as Robbie, but adding comments to that. My comments would be, I like someone who, when I tell them to do something, they do it. Yeah, communication.
Boss. See.
I'm a coach. I help them. But, I mean, really, though, if I give you a simple assignment, you do it. You know, communication's key. Someone who communicates with me, like if they make phone calls, let me know. How many did you make? How can I help you? Heart, heart, heart. Big heart.
So if this is all of Brandy's group, Brandy is looking for someone who will, what? Do what she says. So if they'll do what you say, you think they become agency manager.
If I tell them to do the right thing.
If you tell them to do the right things. Are you going to tell them to do the right things?
I will, yes.
Yes. Is it that simple?
Yes. Big heart. I'm looking for somebody with a big heart, too. I think that's key in this business. Well, I don't think. I know.
You looking for somebody with a big heart. There they go, right there. That's the big-hearted person right there. Takes up almost the whole being. Brandy, how would you know if I've got a big heart or not when you're talking to me?
That, the drive, the burning desire, doing what I asked to do.
Oh, she done tied it back. You do what she tells you to do, you got a big heart. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Accountability.
Accountability. Accountable ability. Accountability. That's one of the 8 steps, ain't it?
It is.
The 8 steps book over there, grab that right there. Let me see that. Flip through that and find that chapter where it has a list of 8 steps, and it's right there in the beginning. So if you're talking to me, accountability is one of them. That's number 7. What else are you thinking about that I might need to do?
What you need to do?
Yeah.
Read the 8 steps and do the 8 steps.
Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking to John, if I got a checklist and I can just check it off, that'd be wonderful. And there's somebody out there, I can hear him now going, that's a great idea. I'm going to call him and I'm going to say, are you accountable? Do you communicate with a positive attitude? Do you read? And I'm going like, easy cheesy. If it was like that, we wouldn't need other people out there building this. We would just do we just email them a checklist and let them send it back. I mean, that's what everybody tries to find shortcuts to our system. I'm going to email them a list and say, check off if you're doing the 8 steps. Because you know how hard it is to talk to people, because you have to pick up what? That frightening thing called the telephone. And you have to have conversations with people, with other human beings. That is the simplicity of going executive vice president.
Right.
But it's tricky. Now, just talking to a guy this morning, and he's like, you just have, I can't mock him because I can't say it like him, but he said, you just have conversations with people. Whenever I ask them, they feel like a boss is talking to them. And I was like, because you do sound like a boss talking to them.
Right.
I'm interviewing. That's like if I interviewed a person and I said, can you type? They go, yeah. And will you show up on time? Yeah. I mean, what are they going to say? But I'm more the detective. I'm more, not the young people won't know what I'm talking about, but a guy named Columbo. Is there detectives today on TV that anybody watches? They're famous detectives.
I don't know any.
Huh? Yeah, Monk. Does anybody know Monk? You know Monk? Huh? Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes. Everybody knows Sherlock Holmes, the movie, right? Okay, so I'm more the detective. I'm more the detective that's looking down in here and trying to predict who's going to be agency manager by asking them questions. Okay? Now, the other thing I'm doing is I'm telling them what to do, but I'm making it real easy so they can do it.
Right.
So they get used to doing what I'm telling them to do every time. It's okay, when I did this, I don't know, have y'all heard how to train a whale? Y'all know how to train a whale? You know, like if you got the water, and you ever seen them where they put a rope up for the whale? They put a rope over there, and the whale, he comes up and he jumps over the rope like that. The fish, you ever seen him do that? The way that it starts out is they put a line down in the middle of the pool, and they put bait over here, or they put nothing over there. When the whale goes across, they feed him. And then when he comes back over here, they feed him again. Then what they'll do is they'll lift the rope up after a week or a month, and then he's just swimming around. Whenever he comes across, they'll give him some food. And then when he comes, and then they keep doing it. And when they get it up here, he's swimming down here. He get hungry, the belly bone starting to hit the backbone. You know what I'm talking about? He's like, I'm gonna eat. And then he jumps up like that, and there's food. And he's like, aha! Ha-ha! Ha-ha! Okay, so he goes back, there's more food. And they keep lifting it up until they get it out of the water. So with this guy, Gooden, I want him to become an agency manager. I want to train him to become an agency manager. But now if you got yourself a crazy whale that's going around in circles like that, you know what I'm saying? You can't get him to become an agency manager.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Have you talked to people recently and you thought to yourself, I don't think they become an IBA. I don't think they become a BD. Have you really?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Tell me something. Don't be too mean,
Okay.
but be kind of mean.
Okay.
Like if we were talking to him and he starts saying this right here, whatever this is, what would that be that would go like, it's not agency manager?
What would it be?
Yeah, what is something they would say that kind of tips you off? It tips you off that the agency manager's down in here and it ain't up here. What's something they say?
Oh gosh, and not be too mean.
Okay, be mean.
You know, I just want that lead that just come in 5 minutes ago, and how many, you serious? I gotta make that many phone calls, and they just negative about working activity.
So negative about working, negative about activity, negative.
Just negative.
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 Negative in general. So a tip, if we're interviewing him and thinking about this guy, we're going down in here, is if he's negative, we ain't that interested
That's right.
in trying to get him an agency manager. Because if he becomes an agency manager and then he's traveling around with us in the Greek islands, he's the kind of fool that'll be complaining
Right.
whining.
Right.
So we don't even, not only do we think it's going to be difficult to him to do there, do you think it's something wrong with their heart?
Absolutely.
I do too. There's a book called Enemies of the Heart, and it tells you about why people are negative about something, why they're jealous, why they're envious, why they have hate, why they have a critical spirit, why they have a haughty spirit. What's wrong? And that's what it says. It talks about a negative heart. So what do you think, Robbie? What's something that you go like, oh, God, this side's not going to be?
So I was in a meeting last night, and the guy said, what's the minimum amount of dials that I have to do to make $1,000? And then I threw something at him. And I said, you should be asking what all the successful people do a copy of that activity. You should be asking what is the most dials somebody's ever made in a week opposed to doing the minimums. Because like broke people do the minimums, rich people don't worry about the minimums, they do what it takes. So you want to do the minimum or do what it takes? He was like, well, I guess I'll do what it takes. But he said, I guess, and I was like, okay.
Oh, so if somebody goes, I guess I'll do it.
That's not good.
You want somebody that says, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. Then we tell them what to do, like go across the line, and then they do it. Like, what's some of the things that if Gooden is brand new, we're teaching him to become an agency manager, would we call it a test? We ask him what to do, or just some things to do that it kind of, let's go back to the things that are down this low. Things that are this low, the line what lines do we draw to get him to go over to see if he's going to be our whale that eventually jumps over the agency manager? What's some of the things that we say to him? Could you do what? Could you do what else?
Could you track your activity? Could you be on the TWC? Could you be on the activity call? Could you, when you track your activity, can you email us your production at the end of the week and tell us what you think went good and what went bad so we can tweak it for next week so having better next week than we did this week? Just doing the basics.
Okay, so I like that. That's where we need to get them. Think about if it's the first time I ever met him. So my conversation might go like this. So I know that I met him through Matt. I'm trying to determine if and now we hired Jonathan to come to work here. The same questions that I ask him to hire him are the same questions that I'm going to ask a person if they can become agency manager. So I say things like, now, are you a military, did you go to military or college, some college? What did you do? What's your experience? Put the mic up.
I graduated with my bachelor's degree at UNCG.
Okay. Got a college degree, reputable college, UNCG. Okay, now, so I got a question. Do I go down the route of family? Do I go down the route of what GPA did he have? Do I go down the route of what's the major? Did he do extracurricular activity? How about this? Here's a big one on me. Wonder what his parents did. What if he likes his parents? What if he hates his parents? What if they're alive? What if they're together? What if his parents stayed married? What if they didn't get married, he hates it or don't hate it? See, I'm wondering, when I'm talking to this guy, when I'm going down in here, I'm wondering, what's this guy thinking? What's this guy thinking? Because why? Because I know that I'm going to need to get them doing these things. Open it back up. I know that I'm going to need to get him doing these things, Casey. I'm going to need him to have his own policy if he's going to have an agency manager. I need for him to work. I need to know if he'll work. I need to know if he'll listen, read. See, I'm thinking, but I'm not doing a checklist.
Right.
But I am thinking. Now watch this. What if he don't think he can do it, or he's never really made. See, agency manager's probably gonna make $100,000, so at least maybe $250,000 or $350,000. And some people will shoot themselves in the foot. They'll mess up. They'll fail. Mm-hmm. So how do I get him? I'm thinking, how do I get my man to be agency manager and not mess up? So I said, what's your major at UNCG?
Marketing.
Marketing major? Okay. Did you love that?
Loved it.
Okay. What'd your parents do? What kind of work?
My dad was in the military for 24 years, and my mom is a daycare teacher.
Okay. The way he said it like that makes me think they're right there together. Military. Mm-hmm. What branch of the military was your dad in?
Army.
Army. You know how rank he got up to?
E8. I think that's Master Sergeant.
Okay. My son's 16. He knows what I do for a living. He asks other kids what their parents do for a living, and a lot of them don't know. I think that's weird.
Very.
Okay. Not only did he know his dad was military in the Army, he knew he was an E8. Mm-hmm. Young guy knows what level he reached. If he says, I don't know, then I know it don't matter. But see, I am going like, I like this guy. Mm-hmm. So then watch this. I tell him, I go, I like you. See, you don't say that, do you? You don't say that, do you? Yeah. I go like, I like you. You're the kind of person we're looking for. People like people that like them. I was talking to a guy it's been, years now, maybe 4 years, maybe even 6 years ago, and I was talking to a person, and they said, I'm thinking about going with this other company. They really want me. And I thought to myself, if he don't think I want him, he's probably not going to come to work with me. And since then, I've done a lot of, I would really, just so you're clear, I want you to work with us. So I say that. It's like that old farmer and that went to marriage counsel with his wife, and she says, he never tells me he loves me. And the counselor looks at him and he's like, I told her I loved her when I married her. If anything changes, I'll let her know. It's the same concept. He need to know. You go, well, I'm talking to him. He knows I like him or I wouldn't help him. You need to say, I like you. I'm in the right pattern. Okay? So this is all in the follow-up right here. And the funny thing is, first thing it says is get a warm market list of names. Well, you can't rush this stuff. I got to get to know my man before I know who he knows. So my whole concept is this. I'm trying to get him to be agency manager, and I am going to do everything in here that says to get somebody started. So if you flip through this, you need to read this entire thing. If you would like to get a person, would you like them to get started faster? Would you like them to last longer in the business? Would you listen? I like this one. Would you like your agents to start working in their business regardless of problems and distractions that they face? Well, yeah. Well, to me, to get him to agency manager, I need to get him working regardless of his distractions. So I have to find out his situation, and then I have to carve out time away from that to get him to start. Okay. Let's do this. Agency manager. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's only 20 people in the agency manager organization. Now, it might be 40 people to be an agency manager. So you're looking at 20 people, 20 people, 20 people, 20 people. It sounds overwhelming. But when you understand an agency manager is simply a key leader, and a key leader is simply a BP, and a BD and 2 IBAs. And a BP is just 2 people. So if I go down in depth, if I go down and I'm talking to people in different organizations, am I getting through? Talk to me, because I want. If I'm down here in this agency manager, what I really do is like I go, I've got him. Now what I'm going to do is I've got to get him started building his organization, and I've got to get him selling. That's how he becomes an agency manager. So the deeper you go in a business, the more people it helps. See, if I found an agency manager right here, if this is an agency manager right here, that gives him one agency manager, gives him one agency manager, gives him an agency manager, gives him an agency manager, and you an agency manager. So the further I go down, it gives a credit for agency manager all the way up. Hello? So if I go down and I get him started, and all he does, if I go all the way down in depth, and this is Jonathan Gooden right here, if I help him do this, what I just do? I just made him a BD.
Right.
If I help him do this, I got him to be a business promoter. So I'm up here going down trying to get him to become an agency manager. But I just took care of a business promoter for this person right here. It's simply going down in depth to people and getting them started. If you go down, it creates that whole leg. So if you went down in 12 different organizations, go 10 down, 7 down, and you're talking to all the best people, and you help them do the easy stuff, it gives everybody credit for having that agency manager in their leg. This is simple stuff. All right, so I'm talking to him. I find out that his parents, I go, so where did you go to, you went to UNCG, where did you go to high school? Did you go to high school close by there?
No, I went to, well, kind of close, Kernersville, North Carolina. Went to Glenn High School.
So I was in Kernersville yesterday at a lacrosse game. Is that a comment I made? I say stuff like that all the time to people, and the whole audience, nobody picks up on it that I can relate. I want to be his friend. I want to relate to him. I was in Kernersville yesterday. Spencer was playing. You go Kernersville exit, almost right off the interstate. There's a park down there, Kernersville Park or something, down behind a little development.
Beeson Park?
Beeson Park. That was it. Beeson Drive. Second, after you turn off the main drag, it's the second left back down there. See? I've been right there. If I know somebody in Miami, I was talking to, if I'm talking to a guy and he knows somebody that went to Miami, I just try to relate. Now, watch this. I got his high school and I got his college, so he knows a lot of people. Jonathan, so if I'm talking to Jonathan, I know that I got to get a list, I got to get him in class, all these things I got to do. The other thing I got to do is I got to get him to want to. I can't get him to do anything if he doesn't want to. If I can't get him in the want to. People want to help. People want to help a person that likes them. Watch this. He likes me if I like somebody else. So I'm all the time talking about Alex Fitzgerald. I'm talking about Erica Went, Erica Nate. I'm talking about Stephen Davies, because Jonathan sees that I like these people, and I feel like I'm in part of a good team. So what I'm doing is I'm always trying to create that pull by saying things to him that I like these people, and this is true stuff. So I'm not changing who I am, but I'm exposing who I am. Mm-hmm. It's like when I tell Jane I love you, you can say like, you're just trying to be nice to her. I go like, what? Are you just trying to trick her? No, I'm not. No, I love her. I don't know what to say when people go like, you're just saying. But see, here's what people do. They try this. James Hill was told me the other day. He said, I'm glad you told me. Remember this, James? We had dinner Monday night, whatever it was, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, Monday night. He said, I'm something to the effect of, when you told me that I could just be nice and I didn't have to be aloof and arrogant or something like that, you didn't have to meet, huh? Do what?
It made work a lot less stressful.
Hand the mic back down there. Just tell me, just say what you said now.
When, if I'm remembering the same conversation, basically, when you told me I could just be myself and just be nice to people, I didn't have to be like, like militant to people. It made work a lot less stressful for me, and made the job like a lot easier. Made mine and Jane's relationship easier, everything, because I wasn't always worried about always being 100% perfect. I was just trying. I was just doing all I could do is all I can do. And I try to do all I can do all the time, but there's only so much that I can do. And I've got to be forgiving of myself when I'm, like, it's a growth process. I'm going to get better, but right now I'm at this level. So in 5 years from now, I plan to be at this level, but I've got to be willing to forgive myself my mistakes while I'm on that path.
The way you try, what people try not to make mistakes is by being aloof and not saying anything. They don't expose themselves. Like, I don't know why y'all laugh when I tell them, I like you. I don't know what makes people laugh when I say that. I'm going to go like, but I say stuff like that. If any of you be around me, you've heard me say, I like you, or I like your family, or I like your kids. I like good people. And I say stuff like that, which makes it easier, because if I sound goofy or I mess up, it don't matter. I'm not some boss.
Yeah.
I'm not some jerk. I'm not some aloof. I'm not, what's the word? You said militant or just asking questions. I'm not like, what was your GPA? And how long have your parents been together? Have they ever had a fight between each other? And your parents ever been separated or something like that? It's like, man, just easy. Huh? Do the mic, huh?
Like an underwriter.
Like an underwriter.
Question.
It needs to be more like.
Are you talking about when I said one of the biggest things I've learned since I've been down here was I come into the office on a Saturday morning and we've got a conference call supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and you can't find the conference call number.
Yeah.
And like to see that Andy Albright, the guy who's created a multi-million-dollar business, he's not always perfect, and it makes it so much easier for me to accept the fact that I'm not always going to be perfect. I just can't. And then it makes it, when I'm open and transparent with people, hey, sorry, screwed up. They're usually, I remember I had one guy I was coaching, and I was supposed to call him at 3 o'clock. About 4:30, I realized, man, I was supposed to call him an hour and a half ago. And I called him, and he's like, we were supposed to call at 3 o'clock. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I just completely forgot. And he was like, wow, thanks for not trying to make up some stupid excuse. Just telling me you forgot. That means a lot to me. Just little things like that.
Okay, bring my mic back to Jonathan. So this is you talking to him being real, but trying to find out if you can get him to do the next thing. So one of the things, if he's already started, in the business, as in he's been to a meeting, he's talked to the person above him, or I've already found out that he really hates his job. If I'm just talking to him on the phone and I've just talked, it's first time I ever met him. If I hired him and I find he hates his job, I believe he's ready to get started. I don't go like, do you want to get started? I believe, which is I assume, I move to, it's as if. I proceed as if I know without a shadow of a doubt he's ready to go. But that don't mean that I think he's one of the 300, the people that are going to go to war with us. He's just one of the people that'll get started. So I'm going to look for a list of names. I'm going to look to get him in class. I'm going to look to get him booked to the next convention. I'm going to look to get him start reading books. All of those things I'm thinking about. Now, I don't want to overwhelm him. I just want to get him started. So I go, Jonathan, have you thought about this? As I've been talking to you about what we do, have you thought of any friends that might want to be interested in this too? If he says, yeah, a buddy of mine, I go, what's his phone number? Let's call him right now. Here's what I get all the time. Now? And I'm always reflecting back going, I think I said now. And then they say, now? And then it's like, what? It's like everybody wants to wait to go executive vice president, or wait to get rich, or wait to qualify for the cruise. And I go, my watch reads now. Right inside all the diamonds, it says now. Right? So I go like, let's call him now. So I start, and if he says, if he hesitates, I'm going to say something like, let me tell you what I'm going to say to you, buddy. I'll call up your buddy Marty. I say, hey, Marty, this is Andy Albright. I don't know if I don't think we've met at all, but I know you know Jonathan Gooden from college, or I know you know him from the restaurant because you're a waiter down there. I know you're his brother. Whatever it is, here's what Jonathan's doing. We're working with Mutual of Omaha on a big project. We need some help. Want to know if you could help or if you knew somebody that could. Just like that. So if I call Marty for him, that's the script I use. If he pulls back, I explain to him what I'm doing. If he's not signed up in class, I say, hey, man, look, here's what we need to do. Here's the next step. We need to get you signed up in class. You see, if in our whole organization, if we had a white had a white sheet of paper, if all of our people, if we got every single person in the company to become this level, BD, it would double the size of the company. Hello? I was people say like, Andy talks about doubling. How the heck does he think he's going to double? Well, what we do is we take IBAs, we take an IBA person, and we get them to hire somebody, and they become a BD. This is how to go EVP, people. You find the best people. To go EVP, you go down and you find a person that become agency manager. You need somebody that's not a liar, that's not a jerk, somebody that's got a job, somebody that'll call you back, somebody that's got a big heart. Do what you tell them to do. This is it. The secret to going EVP, the simplicity to going executive vice president is you selling and recruiting, and after you sell and recruit, you hire this person, you interview them, and you ease them into the next step, which is this. And to do this, they got to have a license and sell, and you got to call their friends, or they call their friends. So if I'm talking to Gooden, I say, Gooden, let me explain to you what's going to happen. You give me, just like we did Marty, I might make 5 phone calls. I might actually get 3 people started. And then what would I do? I would start building my relationship with a new person under Gooden. And what I'm doing with the new person and him, I tell Gooden, I said, here's what you do. Anybody that you know, you ask them, if you can come out and show them the leads that we use and show them the Mutual of Omaha policy and let this person help you, give you recommendations of people. I did this the other day, and I said, I'll even pay this guy. I'll say, look, if you help me find one person and I hire them and get them started, I'll give you a $100 gift certificate to Ruth Chris. And several managers got back to me and said, I did that. I have went out and talked to my friends now and offered them a gift certificate. And I'm like, awesome. Because, I mean, but, you know, you'd be surprised how many people you just ask them for a referral, say, can you tell me somebody that might want a job, want to make some money? I'm looking for a protege. I'm looking to hire a new person. Could you give me a referral? It's a lot of people do it. So what I do is I teach Gooden how to do that with his friends. Sometimes his friends are going to say, yeah. Now, if the person says, let me think about it, Gooden can then say to this person, do y'all have a coverage like this Mutual of Omaha? Do you have anything in place? If they say yeah, what he needs to do is get them to pull out their policy, review it, look at it, read it. If he don't understand it, take some pictures of it and bring it back to me, and I'll tell him whether it's good or bad, whether he needs to replace it, why we can give him one a lot cheaper, or if this one maybe ends next year or 2 years and he thinks it's going to go on and on. So I teach Gooden how to talk to this person. You say, in your first conversation, so we've been going over an hour right now talking about this. I can do this in 15 minutes. In 20 minutes, I can get all this done. 30 minutes at the outside, I go through this. I find about mama, daddy, education, family. If he's married, if he's got a girlfriend, if he's got children, does he live in an apartment? Does he live in a house? Did he go to high school? Was he a cheerleader? Was he military? I know so much just asking a few questions. And I'm always careful to say, just so you know, I went to NC State. Just so you know, I've been married 20, just so you know, this is who I am. What I'm doing is, it's what James is saying, I'm lowering that transparency so that he sees who I am. I talk about friends. If he's coming out of college, I'm talking about my friend Casey with a C, right? So I'm talking about my other friends that are the same age, same college, so that he knows I know people just like him. We can relate to each other. And then what I'm doing is I'm telling him the first steps. We need to get you in class. Oh, here's another big thing. If you're talking to this guy, say, you know, you're $49 to get signed up in class. How'd you like to get all of it back free? And I don't wait for an answer because I don't care. Our company, the one that we work with, they'll send you your money back if you put 3 more people in class. So I'm doing all the things that I need to do to get him headed up this ladder to agency manager. And I tell him, I said, now Gooden, I'm going to move you up, get promoted every 2 months. You help other people get promoted too. So you listen to how I'm talking to you, and that's how you help other people. A lot of people hadn't done that, Robbie. They hire a person, and then they don't tell them to do the same thing in depth. Or worse, I tell him to do it, and then I don't help him. I should tell him to do it, and then I come in and help him when he hires other people. This is simple, basic stuff. And the crazy thing is, to me, it's crazy. It's going like, Brandy, you can take Gooden to executive vice president. How do you take Gooden to executive vice president? Just like this. You help him hire people. You drop down and you just start going IBA, team leader, IBA, key leader, and then all of a sudden, down in here, you find this person, and you go, goodness gracious, big heart, does what I say when I say it, cares about other people. They're fun to be around. They have a great attitude. This person is going to become agency manager. So now this person right here has an agency manager. They got one. Your goal is to keep working down until you find another one. Or maybe it's over here. Now they got 2 agency manager legs. They got 2 agency manager legs. They need 4. This person down here that becomes an agency manager, you start teaching them to do the same thing. So what you're doing is you're increasing your odds of somebody becoming executive vice president. Everything is in here on page. It goes from 222 to 235 to 236. Everything. How about this? Ralph Waldo Emerson. A man is what he thinks about all day long. Marcus Aurelius. A man's life is what his thoughts make of it. If you think executive vice president is impossible, you're not going to get there. But if you look at the simplicity, IBA to BD is 1. BD to BP, you add 1 person, and it continues on. It's so simple. The toughest level is to become agency manager, because you got to get somebody to key leader. You say, well, that's hard. Are you kidding me? Key leader's easy. Remember how I said key leaders are easy? The only hard part is going to agency manager. But the hard part of agency manager is helping somebody get key leader. What? We just said key leader was easy. And key leader, look at key leader. Look what it is. It's a BP, a BD, and an IBA. Who can't go key leader? Well, if they can't help somebody to become BP, what's BP? Somebody that hires 2 people to sell insurance. This is like, it just builds on itself. So, what stops people from going to EVP? They don't use the telephone. You've got to call leads. It's called an activity book. You've got to call leads to sell. You've got to call agents. You've got to call humans, people, fellows, ladies, to get people to get started. Then you have to book a meeting from a meeting, meaning you have to talk to them again 2 hours later. Then you have to talk to them at night. Then you have to talk to them the next day. You say, well, wouldn't it be nice if you could just hire them and then you didn't have to do anything with them and they went agency manager? That would be nice. It just don't work. What you have to do is you have to call them back and say, and you have to remind them. One is occurring to people, and the other thing is reminding people. So you remind them. There is right now, there is a war party coming up, and you need to be there. I want you there. Remember, people want to be, they want to do things when people want. I want you to come to the war party. I want you to bring people. I will help you bring other people. Do you have in your calendar the January National Convention in Raleigh, North Carolina? So I am reminding him nonstop, from when he's a baby, when he's brand new, to when he becomes a toddler, to when he becomes a teenager. And I'm reminding him all the time, as he becomes a young adult, as he becomes a real person, as he becomes an agency manager, as he becomes an executive vice president, I remind him of all the little things through conversation, asking him. One of my favorite things to ask people now is, Well, is what it's been for years. Did you watch the TWC? But I don't say it like this, Eric. I don't call them and go, did you watch TWC? I just call them up, hey, Erica, how you been doing? What you been doing today? Selling? So let's say it's today. Give Erica the mic just for a second. Let me just talk to her a minute. So you're enjoying this about how to go EVP?
Yes,
Simple.
very.
The show last week. Did you? So the question will be: did you see how I did it? The show last week. Did you happen to? Did you watch that?
Yes, I believe I was in here.
You believe you were in here, so you watched it at work.
Yes,
Did you pay attention?
yes.
See how that works? Does it sound like I'm grilling her, or does it sound like I'm curious?
Curious.
It's big. If she say, no, Andy, Chris Revis asked me, make up an excuse, some reason, I can't imagine what one will be. Maybe he's out sick, but just make up an excuse and tell me something, like you did, why you didn't go see it.
My lunch ran over,
Your lunch ran over?
I guess.
Okay, that's not a good one. Give me a better one.
Chris Travis had me working on a project.
Uh-huh. Aha. See. Aha. Aha. Okay. The stuff that was talked about is important, and what Chris had you doing was important. Is there any way you could watch that tonight?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so watch this. What I'm doing is I'm getting her in a habit of doing this stuff. And then I might say, how's Maddie?
Maddie's wonderful.
She is. How old is she now?
She'll be 10 months and 2 days.
10 months and 2 days. That's very confusing. 10 months and 2 days for me. Okay, so she's not even 1.
Not quite.
Okay, so I'm asking like that, and I'm going to go, well, good. You reading any baby books?
Not really.
No. So I'm thinking I'm going to get her a baby book, like I really am, because she's a mommy and she needs a baby book. Tell them what things to do with kids to watch out for. So I'm going to go ask Jane. To my wife. I'm going to say, hey, what kind of books? Because I know she read stuff all the time. She's like, that's what it is right now. But, all right, okay. All right, so so then I go, are you reading any? See, I tricked her, right? Like I didn't trick her, but I'm just in conversation. Are you reading any of the books that I've been talking about lately?
Yes, I just finished David and Goliath, and I'll be starting People Factor tonight.
Hello? Hello? What if she says, no, not now, or from time to time? Say something like that.
No, I haven't really been reading. I've been a little too busy with Maddie.
Yeah, well, children are like that. You got work, you got kids, you got the whole deal. If you were reading, which book do you have would you be reading?
The People Factor.
You would?
Yes.
Okay. So it's hard for her because she's right on track doing the right stuff. But for somebody else, it's easy. But so the question is, how do I get them on track to move up? Well, I got to get them doing all 8 steps, right? But I can't be a boss, so I just got to encourage. It's like my kids, a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. I'm trying to encourage them to do everything because if you start screaming at them, they won't do it. They fight back. So I would say, all right. Are you planning on reading tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, watch it. I'm not kidding you. If you just ask people something like that, like, are you planning on reading tonight, or when were you going to start? And they go like, I was going to start this weekend. So let's say it's Friday. I say, so you were going to start Saturday? And they go like, yeah. And they go, or Sunday. What I'm trying to do is listen. Watch GS3 in a University. This is bam GS3 even though, how long have you been working with us?
A little over 2 years.
So 2 years, but I'm still GS3-enter, right? And so I would say, were you planning on Sunday or Saturday? And then I try to nail down a time, which is goal set, and then I try to get them to do it. So what I'm doing is, when I'm interviewing all down in this organization here, and I'm pushing them along to get all, because you know this, anybody who does all 8 steps to success, they're going to go executive vice president like that. You go, Andy, are you telling me the people that hadn't went? I go, they're not doing it. I go, yeah, 100%. Well, Andy, why would they not do it knowing that they can make money? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they don't have enough WANTTO. I did that to the other guy today, and he did just like that. He went, I said, it's want to, dude. It's just, he don't want to. Or maybe it hadn't occurred to him that that's what's holding him back. So maybe it hasn't occurred to them that they don't want to. So, and why do people want to do stuff? Because they want to do stuff with people that want them to do it. I want you to do it. I want you to be with us. They also they love people that love people. So the more I talk about Fitz, the more I talk about the Lampies, and like hanging out with Mike and Noel or Jason and Tawny, then he's going to want to go hang out with me because I want to go hang out with them. It's like if I'm going to a movie and I start telling people, we are going. If I say, I'm going, they're like, eh? But I go, we going. Next thing you know, there people go like, where y'all going? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like my aunt. She was always like that. She'd always had her coat ready in case somebody going somewhere she wanted to go. You know what I mean? My uncle used to say, well, I can't say what anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Right, people want to go where other people are going. They want to catch on the bandwagon. So me and Fitz are going, and me and Davies, and me and Katz, we're going, and boom, yeah, he's wanting to do it. So we're reading this book. So I'm asking her, are you reading the book? And see, if you're a boss, people got this thing to go like, you ain't no boss to me. I'm not no boss to you. I'm just we're on the same team. All right, guys, look. You came to leadership. You didn't come to leadership. Today's the day. This Wednesday, TWC, can you say this is what changed me when I started going executive vice president? What would be awesome is if 9 months from now, 12 months from now, we start people becoming executive vice president, and they go, I saw that TWC, and I went, all it is going IBA. All it is going BD. All it is going BP. All it is finding somebody that can hire 2 people. Boom, yow. That's all it is. That's the simplicity. And then it just starts building. And we're going to start breaking executive vice president after executive vice president. Alliance Life will go through the roof. Phoenix, Monumental, Mutual of Omaha, CFG. It's going to blow their mind. They're going to give us all the trips we want. We're going to live like we always dreamed of with our friends. Guys, go make it happen for your family. Do this thing. Get a hold of this book. Get the 8 steps to success and start executing. Let's do it. Let's live together. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Hope it helps.